how is Twitter influencing and changing the way of doing journalism today?
Well, I've been a journalist now for close to 30 years, so I remember what it was like before Twitter. So before Twitter, you could not reach an audience unless you had, a TV camera and a satellite dish or a radio transmitter or a printing press. We were the only ones that could speak to a big global conversation as journalists. Suddenly, Twitter came along. You just had to have a connection to a smartphone and Twitter itself. And suddenly, you as an ordinary individual could reach a mass audience if you had a story to tell that was compelling and engaging. And then the audience itself changed. We no longer have an audience because people are now active. They're actively engaging with content and with conversations. And these people have control over how they react and interact with news as well. So it changes everything. There are difficulties for journalists because they're no longer in control sometimes. But for the journalists who decide to engage with Twitter, they get richer storytelling, better reporting. And I'm someone personally who has benefited from that. I've become a better journalist because of Twitter. So that's how it's been redefined. We also see that communities gather around journalism more than they ever have before. Every piece of content, every news event creates a conversation, creates a community with the power to change things. And that for me is how Twitter has totally redefined journalism. The great thing about Twitter is that it's about the ability of a story to have power and to engage. So yes, a hashtag can engage. I remember back when the Arab Spring, nobody knew it was happening. There was a hashtag called Sidi Bouzid, which was the town where a fruit seller called Mohammed Bouazizi set himself on fire. And that was the beginning of the Arab Spring, which became a movement that changed our world. More recently, Black Lives Matter, which was a hashtag launched after the killing of a man in Ferguson in Missouri. And we saw, as that hashtag grew in importance, that it was associated with change. It was ways of people connecting to increase their power and to amplify their voices. So yeah, the answer is yes, and I think we have proof everywhere. Well, we're a platform that was founded for freedom of expression, but at the same time we take very seriously those who might use Twitter as they have used for public communication tools since the beginning of time to spread hate and abuse. And so what Twitter's done is very much listened to its users and designed its product to give power to the user to protect themselves. So if you go into Twitter or see your Twitter app, you will see features that allow you to mute and to block and to report that kind of activity. But we take it further than that. We're trying to build a coalition of forces to empower people to stand up and have a better voice and protect themselves. So we have a Trust and Safety Council where we consolidate with NGOs and other people who share our aims. And I think the very important thing is the internet is us. This activity, this kind of hate existed before the internet was created. So now it's about all of us together. We have a responsibility in our product, but I think all of us have a responsibility to unite and try to counteract that kind of speech. The final thing I would say is that Twitter continues to be the place that empowers people who are fighting against injustice, fighting against abuse. You see that with these hashtags. So I think Twitter has been a great force for solidarity, I think far greater in many ways than the minority who would use it for not so effective means.